Hello, my friends. Can you believe the 5-day challenge is over? It went really fast. Oh, I gotta fix my hair. It went really fast, and I am shocked. Something is still wrong with my hair. I am shocked at what I learned about myself during this challenge. And I'm really excited to share it with you. And I do have some notes down here that I'm going to be looking at. So if you see me looking down, I want to make sure that I cover certain points. So maybe you don't know who I am. My name is Christy with Help for Your Journey, where my goal is to encourage and inspire you in your Trim Healthy Mama lifestyle. You may say, Christy, what's Trim Healthy Mama? Trim Healthy Mama is a way of eating where basically we separate our fats and our carbs. And so I will link a playlist in the description box that gives you some more information about that if you are interested. Maybe you're saying, Christy, what is this challenge that you're talking about that you're now done doing? So I would hear people say, oh, it's really expensive to eat the Trim Healthy Mama way, and that you need a bunch of special ingredients in order to be successful. And I knew that that wasn't true, but I wanted to really be able to show people that it wasn't true, not just, I'm just telling you that it's not true, so take my word for it. So I set out to do a challenge where for 5 days, feeding just myself, 3 meals and 2 snacks a day for $25 total. My rules were that the only things that I could use in the house that I already had were like oils and cooking sprays, spices, and I did allow myself to use sweetener that I had, and I was not including add-ins for coffee in that $25 because I gotta have my coffee and I wasn't gonna be able to do that. So $25. And I totally did it. And I knew that I would be able to, but I wasn't expecting all of these lessons. Like, I learned stuff about myself. It's just I'm kind of shocked about it. So let me just say that I wanted to let you know, because I did not post on day 4, and now we're at the end of day 5. So day 4 and really day 5, everything I was eating was leftovers. And I didn't think that anybody wanted to see me film the same things that they had already seen. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's why I'm not showing you any of my actual meals. So I want to tell you what food I do have left, because yes, I do have food left over, if you can believe it. I have a little bit of the chicken rice soup left over. I would say barely even a serving. And I have a little bit of stir fry left over. And I have a few ounces of almond milk. And that's it. That's it. I ate everything else that I bought, and I will link in the description box the playlist that I've made for this challenge. You can see my grocery haul, you can see my prep videos, and you can see my videos for the first 3 days, because I was doing more cooking in those first 3 days, and then the last 2 days I was basically just eating things that I had made. You will want to go back and watch the video where I show you what I did with hard-boiled eggs, because that was a little bit crazy and a little bit amazing. So, what did I learn? I'm going to share with you 6 things that I learned. 1, and I mentioned this in my very first video, is that variety is a luxury. I learned this before I even started the challenge, when I was just trying to do the menu planning for it, because it took a lot of planning to try to work out exactly what I was going to eat, exactly what I was going to buy, how much was I going to buy. Then I went to the different stores and I found out the prices for these things to make sure that I got the best deal. It took a lot of preparation. And so I learned, even in that preparation stage, variety is a luxury. if you have a very tight grocery budget, the more things that you have to choose from, the more money that costs you to buy those things. And when your budget is tight, the money is just not there. But one thing that I did think of that I think makes a lot of sense is the more variety you have, I think the more we eat. Because when we see all of these different choices and we taste them, it's like, oh, that looks good. Oh, that tasted yummy. I want to have some more of that. When you have all these choices, I really do think that we end up eating more. So that was the first thing. Second thing, not everything you eat needs to be the best thing you've ever tasted. So, I made a couple things that weren't that great. I made some roasted celery and I had to eat it for 2 meals. I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it one bit, but I ate it and it filled my stomach. And I made some zucchini chips. They were okay. They were okay, but I just said to myself, Christy, you don't have to love this. Now, it's one thing if you're trying to force yourself to eat things that you genuinely don't like, because you don't need to do that. I mean, there are plenty of, different things that you can eat. If you don't like spinach, don't eat spinach, eat kale or whatever, right? But definitely not everything that you eat has to be the best, most amazing thing that you have ever eaten. Sometimes simple is best. Like, you can have a piece of chicken and some green beans for dinner. It doesn't have to be this 5-course amazing dinner that took you 2 hours to make. I think sometimes people think that just some meat and some vegetables, well, that's not good enough. And they start looking at all these recipes, and recipes are fun and recipes are good, but you can easily get overwhelmed and then throw in the towel, which is not, of course, what you want to be doing. Okay, number 3. It's okay to not eat every time the thought of eating pops into your head. And when I had certain foods to eat at certain times, because that's all the food I had, it was amazing how many times just eating popped in my head. And I was thinking about how before I started this challenge, I had really gotten myself into a bad habit of sort of eating like every time that thought popped in my head. I mean, I was just grazing like all day, which Trim Healthy Mama absolutely says that is not what you want to do. You want to have time in between your meal or a snack and the next meal so that your body can burn the food that you're eating, and then it can burn your body fat. So by constantly eating little bits, your body is always trying to burn off what you're eating, and it never gets around to your own body fat. So that was very much to my detriment, and that is, not something that I want to go back to. Number 4, it's okay to feel hungry or empty and for your stomach to growl. I had mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I really have like an aversion to this, and I don't know why. I don't like that feeling, that empty feeling, that hungry feeling, which may play in to why every time I would think about eating, I was popping something in my mouth. I never got to the point where I felt empty or my stomach was growling. I might feel, hungry-ish, but it was never really that empty, I need to eat, not to where you're feeling sick and shaky and all of that, but definitely that's how God made our bodies to work, to where we feel empty, to where we, maybe get a growl in our stomach. Those are signals to us that it's time to eat. It's not something that we need to try to avoid. And I feel like that is what I was doing. So what I would like to do is try to change my mindset with that. Instead of looking at the empty or hungry feeling and the growl as something negative to be avoided, I would like to look at it as something positive, like, oh, look at, that means that you did not eat when you didn't need to eat. You have waited until you are truly hungry, and now your body is telling you that it's time to eat. So go ahead and eat now and enjoy it. And when you're hungry, food definitely tastes better than when you are not hungry and you're eating. Okay, number 5, you don't need to feel stuffed after every meal. I really think that I was overeating at I'm not going to say every meal, but I would say definitely at dinner. It would have been very normal for me to take my serving and then go back for seconds. And I always have a snack after dinner, usually around 7:30 or 8. And that's not that far off of dinner time. There is no reason that I need to be stuffed after dinner and then I need to eat a snack. So, and I like eating a snack after dinner. I don't want to stop doing that. So, I think something better for me to do would be to limit my portion sizes at dinner, which I will talk about in a minute. The sixth thing that I surprisingly discovered about myself is that it's okay to eat leftovers and eat the same things all the time. I'm not saying that we don't need variety, to be healthy. I mean, obviously, different foods have different vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and all of that, phytonutrients or whatever. But if you find a meal that you really enjoy, there is nothing wrong with eating that meal really as often as you want if it's Trim Healthy Mama compliant. You guys already know I'm a big proponent of leftovers. Like, I love leftovers. It saves me time, it saves me money. It's just a win-win all around. So but I think we kind of feel for some reason that we just have to have all these different meals all the time. We have to have all this variety. So not only variety in the amount of foods that we have available to choose from, but variety in the meals that we're making. And I don't know that that's really something that we have to be striving for. I mean, let's just make it easy, right? So those are the six kind of surprising things that I learned about myself during this challenge. Now, I'd like to make some changes from here on out based on these things that I've learned. And so I think I would like to be a little more strict about my meal times. During the challenge, because I only had so much food, I needed to space my meals out in a way that I wouldn't be hungry all the time. And it really worked out pretty well. And so for me, I think what I'm going to do is say, I'm not going to eat breakfast before 8. I'm not going to eat lunch before 11. And I'm not going to eat dinner before 5. Even if I'm hungry, I'm going to push that off and at least hit those meal times. And then the snacks can be, worked in there as well. There's no reason that I can't stick to those times. And I think that that's going to also help me with my snacking as well. Speaking of which, the next thing that I really would like to try to do is to limit myself to 2 snacks a day. I had found that sometimes I don't sleep that well, and so I wake up crazy early in the morning, and I was going downstairs and eating kind of like first breakfast, and then I was still eating my regular breakfast, and then just like I was saying, like just kind of grazing, like every time it popped in my head to eat, I was eating. And I think this has shown me that the 2 snacks a day is plenty. It is plenty. I don't need any more than that. And so the last thing that I would like to try to change, and this is kind of what I mentioned a couple minutes ago, is that at dinner, just having one plate or one kind of serving of the meal, because I know that that snack is coming up. And if I eat at 5 and I'm having my snack at 7:30 or 8, that's not very far away. So there's no reason why I need to be having multiple servings of food at dinner. So those are some changes that I would like to make from here on out that I hope will help me. I'd like to lose about another 10 pounds, and I've been having a tough time making that happen, and kind of just been going back and forth about 2 pounds, just back and forth, back and forth. And so I'm hoping that these changes will help me kind of maybe get those last 10 pounds off. So the last thing I want to talk about is things I already knew, but doing this challenge solidified, if that makes sense. So the first thing is that you can be successful on Trim Healthy Mama if you are on a very tight budget. This does not have to be a complicated or expensive way of eating. You guys saw what I bought. I bought all whole foods. I didn't buy anything that was like pre-packaged or anything like that. You've got your fruits, you've got your vegetables, you've got your grains, you've got your protein. I mean, if you have that, you're set. It doesn't have to be expensive. The second thing would be is that you can be successful on Trim Healthy Mama with no special ingredients. Do I have special ingredients? Yes, I actually have a boatload of special ingredients and I use them all the time. I enjoy them. They're delicious. They keep things interesting and I'm able to make fun recipes using them. But you do not have to use them to start Trim Healthy Mama, or you would never have to use them. Some people I know, when they first start, they don't buy the special ingredients. They kind of just get the plan, kind of get their feet underneath of them, and then they find as they move forward that, okay, I'm gonna try like a few things, a few special ingredients. So let me just tell you really quick a couple that are my favorites. Trim Healthy Mama sells a whole line of items, which is usually where I get this my special ingredients from. Gentle Sweet is one of their stevia blend sweeteners, and that is my absolute favorite. I really like the pressed peanut flour that they have. There's like a Coach Canada. I will link that recipe down below. She has a recipe to make your own peanut butter. I can't remember the other ingredients off the top of my head, and I do think there are a couple other special ingredients for it, but it is so good, and it's a fuel pull, so that's like, it's so good. I really do like the strawberry whey protein powder, because there's a shake or like smoothie that you can make that I really enjoy having that has some double fermented kefir in it. I know I'm throwing out a lot of weird words, but I have a video on that shake as well that I can link below. And it's so good. And so I do like the strawberry protein powder, but wait till Black Friday. I don't know that they're going to have a sale for Black Friday, but I think it's probably pretty safe to say that they will. So if you're interested in trying some things, wait till Black Friday and get a good sale and just try a couple of things. And then if you like them, try a few more. But you can do it without the special ingredients. Planning and preparation are 75% of the battle. I honestly believe that. If you would take some time to make a menu plan, you only have to think about it once. You sit down for an hour. Once you get good at it, it might not even take you an hour. You sit down for an hour once a week and you plan out your meals for the next week. And then all you have to do is follow the plan. It saves you so much time. It saves you so much mental energy. And then all you have to do is eat what you have written down. And if you can take some time on the weekend to do some prep of your food, that is also going to totally be able to set you up for success. So I think that planning and preparation are a huge part of this. One thing I keep saying that I try to remind myself of all the time, like if I'm feeling kind of lazy or like I don't really want to do planning and prep, I'll think to myself, what can I do that's going to make things easier for my future self? I keep saying that, but it's so good. And then when I stop and I think about it and I think how nice it's going to be, like tomorrow when I go to make dinner, to have X, Y, and Z already done, I just bite the bullet and I just do it. And literally, you guys, I've never one time regretted the preparation that I have done, but you better believe I have regretted not doing the prep. So I want to just encourage you. I do have a video where I talk about meal planning, and I also, or let's say menu planning, and I have a meal template that I came up with that works for me, that I follow, so that I'm not always having to think about when do I want to eat an S, when do I want to eat an E meal. I follow this template, and that also takes a lot of the decision making out of it. So I'll link that video below. And the last thing that I already knew before this challenge, but doing the challenge solidified it, is that I love Trim Healthy Mama. I love eating this way. You guys, I used to weigh 280 pounds. I had gastric bypass done in 2017 and I've lost 130 pounds, but I started to gain it back and I was having a hard time keeping it off. And Trim Healthy Mama allows me to maintain, like I said, I'd like to lose about another 10, but it keeps me where I want to be. But the thing is is that I am able to eat the most delicious food. The desserts that I can eat, I get to eat oatmeal, like I get to eat steak, I get to eat butter, I get to eat so many good foods and be on plan and be where I want to be with my weight. So I love Trim Healthy Mama, and I hope that you do too. I hope that watching me do this challenge encourages you. If you're maybe you don't have a really tight grocery budget, but maybe you know that your grocery spending is kind of out of control, and the prices at the grocery store are a little ridiculous right now, and I don't think that that's going to change maybe ever. So we're all, pulling our purse strings a little bit tighter. So hopefully this will encourage you to go back to the basics, go back to being, making the simple meals. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And maybe you would want to do something like this too, like challenge yourself. How about challenge yourself to not go to the grocery store, but to use up things that you have in your house already for a week? Could you do that? How much money would you spend at the grocery store in a week? And if you didn't do that because you were using up food at home, how much money could you save? What if you did that once a month? Like there are different ways to challenge yourself that will help you save a little bit of money and not throw perfectly good food away that you've already spent money on. You know what I mean? So anyway, surprising things that I learned about myself. I'm super happy I did this. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming along with me on this ride. If you found value in this video, if you could give it a like, that would be awesome. Even better, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would really help me out a lot. That lets YouTube know that there are people who are interested in seeing this content. And when you subscribe, if you hit the little bell icon that comes up, it'll make sure that you see all my videos when I post them. And, if you know of somebody who's maybe struggling with Trim Healthy Mama, they're struggling with their grocery budget, send them this playlist, and maybe it will help kind of just give them some ideas that this is really doable. So I appreciate you watching so much, and I will see you next time. Thanks.